po, ito ang programang Bawal ang Pikon, Get It Straight with Daniel Razon. Isang miyembro po ng gabinete ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte ang hindi makakapagpatuloy ng pagsisilbi dahil tinanggihan ng Commission on Appointments ang pagkakatalaga sa kanya ng presidente bilang kalihim ng Department of Foreign Affairs. Marami na po tayong opinyon narinig kaugnay ng issue na yan. Meron mga kanya-kanyang mga tuligsa, meron namang mga suporta, meron namang mga naniniwala, may hindi naniniwala. Mas mahinam na ho, direct from the horse's mouth. Bago natin umpisahan yan, pakinggan muna po natin ang mga sinabi ni Pangulong Duterte regarding po dito sa issue ng pagkaka-reject ng Commission on Appointments kay Secretary Perfecto June Yasay.
I'll tell you a story about Yasay. Pag sinabi ko, roommate ko yan. Dating ng Marcelo, hinahanap yan sila. They were granted by the U.S. Embassy ng parang asylum. Pinalabas sila as political dissenters. So, yung lumaban kay Marcos nagsibatan, including Yasay. So Yasay was there in prison for the time that there was martial law in the Philippines. So I would not wonder why he was given maybe something of an accommodation or a traveling paper documents to show that he can travel because hindi man siya makauwi dito na. Yun lang ang kasalanan talaga. Sumibat yan doon hindi dahil gusto niya. Kasi medyo aktivista yan sa UP noon. So Marcelo, nakadoon yung pangalan niya, nakabalandra talaga. That's what happened along the way. Kaya magulo ang travel niya noon. When he went outside of the US, they needed some documents to show that they are of a national from what country. Hindi naman nila magamit ang passport nila because lahat ng passport na kalaban ni Marcos noon na sumibat, automatic yung passports were invalidated. So hindi lang magamit palabas-labas naman. Pero June Yasay kinuha kaya kasi Mr. President, I'd like to report to you that this was what we have agreed in Washington, D.C. And as a matter of fact, they're inviting you to be there. The U.S. embassy kept asking me if there's a chance that you visit America, and I told them that no, the president is inclined to travel over. It's too far away. Ganun ba dun? Okay. Yun lang pala eh. Sagot yung siyenta, Bisaya. Mura man dahil na, ang istorya. Yun, huwag mo galing ka. Mag-usap lang tayo ulit.
At para po mas maliwanagan ang issue na yan, let's welcome to the program Attorney Perfecto June Yasay. Good morning. Hi, sir.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Please, have a seat and so nice to see you back again.
Thank you. Salamat.
Just like what our president was saying regarding your situation now, because you've been rejected by the Commission on Appointments. No. Ito magulo eh. Hindi ko maintindihan. But I'll get it straight to you. Nagsinungaling ka ba talaga?
Hindi.
Okay. Pero tinanong ka tungkol sa citizenship mo.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Ikaw ba ay naging American citizen?
Yes. I applied and was granted U.S. citizenship.
Oh, but when you were asked
1986,
by the CA, what did you say?
I said to the CA, I was granted U.S. citizenship in November 26 of 1986, but I did not legally acquire it because at that time it was granted to me, I was disqualified from it.
So, paano yung hindi mo legally na-acquire? Kasi when you say, I did not legally acquire it, that means there's another way of acquiring it. Ganun ba?
No. Ang ibig sabihin noon is that because you were not qualified, you were ineligible for American citizenship, then you are subject to a revocation of that citizenship. Yan ang legal argument na kailangan maintindihan ng taong bayan. Dahil ang other option is kung you legally obtained U.S. citizenship, the course of action that you would like to take kung ayaw mo na maging American is to voluntarily apply for renunciation. I did not. In 1986, apply for a renunciation, but I applied for a voluntary revocation of my U.S. citizenship.
Teka, pero naging US citizen ka, paano? Kasi if it is not legally acquired, paano ka naging US citizen?
I applied for naturalization, no? Naging legal permanent resident kasi ako sa Amerika. Now, in 1986, pag-apply ko, dahil namatay na si Ninoy at that time, that was the lowest point in our lives.
Yes.
Eh, sabi natin, wala na siguro tayong pag-asa in the struggle for freedom in the Philippines. So, nag-apply tayo. But by the time that I was granted the U.S. citizenship, lifted na ang martial law. Umalis na si Pangulong Marcos sa Pilipinas. Umalis siya in February of 1986. Ako was granted November 26 of 1986. So, nakauwi ako sa Pilipinas.
You were granted
Yeah.
citizenship.
No, wala pa.
So, naturalized ka na, di ba?
Hindi pa in
In 86.
well, when I was granted U.S. citizenship in November 26 of 1986, then it was on the basis of my application. But as I said, because I already intended to return to the Philippines at that time and abandon my U.S. residency to establish and reestablish my residency back in the Philippines, I was disqualified at that time I was granted such status. So anong option ko? My option was to seek a voluntary revocation of that citizenship. Parang yan sa ating...
How can you revoke something that has not been granted to you yet?
That was precise. It was granted to me, but I did not legally acquire it.
No. So you were granted.
Yes.
You applied and you were granted.
Yes, that's
How can
correct.
you
And I
be
even
granted
took
if
my
you
oath.
No, how can you be granted of something that you are not qualified? Kasi you're saying, di ba, parang you're not qualified.
Yeah.
But they granted you. How are they going to grant you something kung hindi ka qualified?
No, when you are granted U.S. citizenship,
Yes.
but at the time of that grant, you failed to comply with the essential requisites to become a U.S. citizenship, and this was not disclosed or apparent at that time, then the course of action that will be taken is to revoke such citizenship. The revocation will be initiated as an involuntary revocation by the U.S. Attorney General if you contest it.
Yes, ganito lang. So para klaro lang yung ano. Kailangan muna kasi mag-grant ka, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Para ka masabing may i-revoke.
Yes.
So that time ginrant ka.
Yes, of course, I was granted. I never denied that.
Okay, so when you were granted, US citizen ka na. Kaya lang
From the eyes of yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
kaya
yeah,
lang
yeah.
hindi after granting you the citizenship, meron kang requisites ng pagiging US citizen na hindi mo na mako-comply because
Yes.
you left the US already.
Yes, pag
So,
hindi mo na comply yun,
marirevoke.
marirevoke.
Okay.
Yun yung nangyari sa akin. Para maintindihan ng ating taong bayan dan, let's use the example of the grounds for nullification of marriage here in the Philippines. Di ba? Pinakasal ka, let's say, in 1986. At that time, however, of your marriage, there was psychological incompatibility between you and your spouse. But that was not yet apparent. And you got married, you stayed married, even let's say for 20 years.
Yes.
And then you had children.
Yes.
And then you go to court and say, oh, at that time that I applied for that marriage, I did not have the psychological capacity to do so with my other spouse. On that basis, if the court grants it, the court nullifies the marriage as of the time you acquired it in 1986.
Yes, pero
ganun din ang nangyari sa akin.
Yes, yun, dun nagkakaroon ng confusion.
Yes.
Because parang it's a matter of legal parang legal parlance yung
That is
nagiging
That is correct.
point of view, but parang naging technical masyado, no? But ang reality is you were granted citizenship.
Yes, I have never denied that. I was also issued a naturalization certificate as evidence of that grant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when I also returned that and I had it revoked.
So kailan mo inirenounce yung citizenship mo ng US?
Hindi ko inirenounce yung citizenship ko when I sought for the revocation. But in June of 2016, nagkakaroon ng issue for the first time na hindi raw ako Pilipino, Amerikano raw ako.
So you never renounced your
I
citizenship?
never renounced that citizenship. That's why when I
The
went...
U.S.
Yeah.
citizenship?
Yeah, I never...
But, okay.
But,
What was it revoked?
yeah. Well, it was revoked insofar as I understood it, because in 1993, when I applied for a U.S. visa to enter the United States, I was granted a tourist visa from 1993, and it has been renewed in multiples of 5 years up to now, which is valid up to March of 2020. You will not be granted that visa if you are an
a
American citizen.
Oh,
And so this was the evidence that I have that my action, voluntary revocation, was accepted by the United States by granting me this visa.
So pero yung ano mo, yung final na revocation, when was that again?
I filed that in February of 1993.
So 1993, ang i-final mo is revocation.
Yes.
Hindi ka
Voluntary.
nagre-renounce.
Hindi ako nagre-renounce.
So it's voluntary revocation.
Yes.
Parang revoke nyo na kasi hindi ko mako-comply.
Yeah, because I was not qualified. Yun ang admission ko. I was not qualified when you granted it.
Based on the revocation na i-final mo sa kanila.
Yun ang sinabi ko sa revocation in my sworn
That was
affidavit.
in 1993.
In 1993.
What do you have? What documents do you have to prove na meron kang i-final na revocation sa kanila?
O sinabit ko rito sa my affidavit, including the registry mail with return card that was received by the U.S. Immigration and Naturalization Service in Newark, New Jersey. This was in February 23 of 1986.
Kasi one thing that I am wondering
In
about...
1993, February 23, 1993. Yeah.
Okay. Bakit meron kang i-final na panibago na renunciation ng 2016?
That's the point. Okay.
Okay.
In 2016, before I assumed my office as Secretary of Foreign Affairs, mayroong lumalabas na issue na haka-haka na hindi raw ako Pilipino, na Amerikano raw ako. At may sinabi pa nga, I was issued daw an American passport in 2006.
But were you?
Yeah, no, I was not. I have no
Not even
personal knowledge about that.
Not even in your life that you were
I
granted.
was granted in 1986.
So you have the American
That
passport.
expired
before.
already a long time ago.
Okay. Yun nga yung na-revoke, kumbaga.
Yeah. So, ang punto ko, because of that haka-haka dan, ay pumunta ako sa American Embassy. Sabi ko, binigyan nyo na ako ng US visa, admitting na hindi ako isang Amerikano. Eh, mayroong haka-haka dito. Wala akong affirmative proof na nanggaling sa US government na I am not an American citizen. So sabi ng consul, mag-apply ka ng renunciation, pero ang sa renunciation mo, sasabihin mo na nag-submit ka ng affidavit in 1993 where you had sought the revocation. So on that basis, in-approve nila on the same day yung aking application based precisely on the affidavit that I said I was not qualified. So while the form that I applied for was renunciation, because that was the only form available, very clear in that form, which is known as the loss of nationality as a U.S. citizen, very clear doon ang acknowledgement ng consul that I filed that renunciation on the basis of my affidavit voluntary revoking my U.S. citizenship.
So yun yung isinabit mo sa kanila?
Sinabit ko rin yun sa commission on appointment as part of the evidence to show that I am no longer an American and that I am a Filipino. Pero sinasabi nila na nagsinungaling daw ako because they disagreed with me. They disagreed with me na hindi daw ako nag-file daw ako ng renunciation. It was only approved in 2016. Totoo yung sinasabi ng Commission on Appointments. But this is a differing of opinion. They may not disagree with me, they may not agree with me, and I am not subscribing to what they say, that I am not a Filipino, but it did not mean, and itong i-emphasize ko, that I lied, because I never lied. That's the issue.
Pero minsan may mga sinasabi na totoo ba yung sinabi ka na? Hindi kasi pagka nakaharap ka sa media minsan na hindi mo naman masabi sa media yung lahat ng mga...
Sinabi ko sa commission, yan again, that is a misrepresentation because when I was in the commission, what I told the commission, alam mo, in a hearing like this, when you are grilled like this, sometimes you blurt out a statement that can appear contradictory with what you have said. But I said, let me explain. Sinasabi kasi nila na I was issued a US passport in 2006. Ang sinasabi ko lang naman, in my response is, no, I was never issued a passport in 2006. I have no personal knowledge about that fact.
In
Yun ang
2006?
Yeah,
In 2006.
Yeah. Because I was
But
traveling.
that you were issued an American passport in 2006.
My number pa eh. I do not have any personal knowledge about that fact.
Pero is there such a thing?
I do not know.
So wala,
ang pinakamaganda-
were they able to show it?
Dapat they should present
Kasi
it.
di ba ang burden of proof nasa kanila?
Nasa kanila. They should present
And
it.
why bother? Do you have your Philippine
Oh,
passport?
yes, up to now.
So when did you have your Philippine passport?
Since I came back from the United States in 1987, when I came back, I still had a valid Philippine passport that I was able to obtain.
Okay, yun bang ginagamit mo or you're sort of a dual citizen that time?
No, at that time that was the only
Passport that you have.
that I had, and I returned to the Philippines. I did not even use my US passport.
So you're saying na it expired without you using it?
Yes.
Yung US passport
yes.
mo.
When I entered the United States, and then from 1990 when I entered the Philippines, and
Okay.
when I in 1993 when I was able to get a renewal of that passport that expired, that Philippine passport that expired, and then I applied for a US visa. Since then, I always had my Philippine passport, which I used to travel to the United States as a tourist.
But your Philippine passport was never revoked?
No.
Kasi the time ni Marcos, hindi
Yung
ba
panahon nun, we
na-revoke?
were not entitled to a Philippine passport. Remember, 1987?
Yes, yes.
Tapos na yun.
Yes,
so
yes,
I was
yes.
able to get my Philippine passport from the New York
So,
consulate.
from then on, puro Philippine passport ginagamit
Oh,
mo
yes.
pagka lumalabas ka
Yes.
na ng Pilipinas.
Yes,
Oo.
exactly.
So, lalabas ngayon dito with all of these things that you are saying, kagaya nun, nag-practice ka ba ng law sa US?
Yes. Oh.
Under what capacity did you
I
practice
passed the
there?
New York State Bar.
Okay. Pero as a citizen or
No, you don't have to be a citizen to
practice law
yeah.
in the US?
Yes.
So nagpass ka ng ano doon. And
Yeah.
immigration law yung
Ang specialty ko. Among other things.
ipinapractice mo
Yeah.
doon. But
Yeah.
you stay there.
I stayed there.
How long?
Up to 1987. From 1978 to 1987.
78 to 87.
Yes.
And permanent resident ka no, mga
Yes,
time na
I
yun.
was permanent resident.
So hanggang 87 ka permanent resident doon.
No, up to November 26 of 1986 when I was granted that US citizenship.
Na bumalik ka dito sa Pilipinas to stay for good when?
In January 7 of 1987. In other
87.
words, less than 2 months after I was granted that US citizenship.
Bakit noong tumakbo ka, di ba, ng senador? You even ran as vice president.
Yeah. I even served as chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Yes,
There was
yes,
no
yes.
issue about that.
Walang question doon
No,
sa
none at all.
sa citizenship
Yeah,
mo.
none at all.
Yun sa COMELEC kasi nagbibigay ng
Yes,
ano dyan,
no,
di ba?
and then
Was it questioned
No,
by the
not
Commission on
at all.
Elections? Okay.
And I have also my voter's ID since I came back.
So, ano nakikita mo dito? Hinanapan ka lang talaga ng butas? Ayaw lang nila talaga sa'yo o may nagtatrabaho sa'yo? Before you answer that, we'll pause for a break. Ito ang programang Bawal ang Pikon. Get it straight with Daniel Razon. Example natin, Attorney Perfecto June Yasay, former DFA Secretary, was rejected by the Commission on Appointments on the grounds ng hindi ko pa rin talaga naintindihan kung anong ground. Hindi. Honestly, ayaw nila sa'yo. Well, ganun lang. Ano ba tingin mo? Ayaw lang nila sa'yo, hinanapan ka nilang ng butas. Because with what you're saying, I mean, especially, I believe that in the Commission on Appointments, there are those that are in the law practice before they became legislators. And ako, hindi naman ako abogado, but naintindihan ko naman kahit papano yung pinapaliwanag mo. And besides, tumakbo ka na nga ng vice presidente, tumakbo ka na ng senador, nang hindi naging question yung citizenship mo. And you have your Philippine passport. Kung ako nga sa'yo, parang, kung ako sa'yo, patunayan ninyo. Ganun na, as simple as that. If that is what you're saying, that I am not a Filipino citizen, the time that I was appointed by the President as DFA Secretary, then the burden of proof ay nasa inyo. Wala sa akin. Because, as far as I'm concerned, I have my Philippine passport. I have acquired this Philippine passport ganitong katagal na. I have this tourist visa from the U.S. Embassy. And I think I will be resting my case showing you all these documents. If the point is with regard to my being an American or whatsoever it is that you're saying regarding my citizenship. Pero yun ba talaga ang point of your rejection?
Yeah. Well, to begin with, Dan, gusto kong sasabihin ito, no? That has always been what I've said. If you say that I am not a Filipino, you come forward and present your proof in the proper forum.
Correct.
All right? You cannot present it in the Commission on Appointments because it is not the body that is tasked by law to determine the issue of my citizenship.
Of your citizenship. No, but even if they are going to show it to the Commission on Appointments, the proof that whatever it is that they have to show that you are not a Filipino citizen, you have other documents to counter that easily. I mean, and it can be appreciated by those who at least have an idea of what the law is.
And you pointed out very correctly, Dan, that there was no such evidence on their part to show. They did not even present that so-called passport that they allege that I was issued to me in 2006. So I leave it at that. But this is what I would like our people to understand. Yung tungkulin po ng Commission on Appointments, I think they carried out their responsibilities correctly in making sure na susuriin ng husto ang isang kwalifikasyon ng isang nominee for a cabinet position. Yan po ang utos ng ating saligang batas as part of the checks and balances. Now, yung ginawa nilang to disqualify, to reject my confirmation is well within their duty and authority, even if they base it on their belief that I am not an American, that I am not a Filipino. But my only point here is that, and I accept that with grace and humility. That's why I want now to move forward beyond the rejection of my appointment. But having said that, I just would like to tell our people that do not tell me that when the Commission on Appointment rejected my confirmation on the basis of their belief that I am not a Filipino, that I told a lie. Because if you will really look at the transcripts of what I said in the Commission on Appointment, I never told a lie. All of these things I have always admitted from the very beginning. I am not obligated to respond to the newspapers or media.
Correct.
If they try to, I leave that to them. If you want, bring your accusations in the proper form. But in the Commission on Appointments, I was the one that presented the evidence of my affidavit, seeking the revocation or swearing and admitting under oath that I was not qualified. I was the one that presented my application in June 26 of...
Pero ako honestly, in just this could probably be unsolicited, pero hindi mo na dapat ini-revoke, hindi ka na dapat nag-file sa US Embassy pa ng ganun. Actually, it triggered that kasi kung naniniwala ka, dahil with anybody, di show me, ito naman yung sa akin. Kaya lang na-trigger na nung 2016, di ba?
People might say that as an error in judgment that I have made, although I think I still did the right thing. My only point is, that cannot be a basis for anybody to say that I told a lie.
No.
Yun lang sa akin. I want our people to understand that I have carried my duties and responsibilities as Secretary of Foreign Affairs with dignity, with honor, with respect. And, you know, this dignity, honor, and respect have been recognized even abroad.
Tsaka ang tinatanong lang naman sa'yo, ikaw ba'y US citizen ka ba?
I answered them.
Okay, kung sinabi mo, alin ba punto yung pinagsinungaling mo talaga? Wala ka bang ibang...
Wala. Ang punto ng pagsinungaling is that kung sinasabi kong I was not qualified at the time that I was granted U.S. citizenship, why did I file for renunciation in 2016.
Oo,
Yun ang punto nila eh.
Yes,
But if
yes.
they will look at that document known as the CLN, no?
Parang kinaklarify mo kasi that you have filed it already before.
Yeah, an acknowledgement ng US Consul in that document itself of June of 2016 said that the basis for my applying for that so-called renunciation form was my revocation.
But that was after ba kasi na-appoint ka? Yung
No.
bang 2016 of before?
My appointment was in June 30 of 2016.
Kailan mo i-final yung sa
On
revocation?
June 28.
28.
Yeah, because at that point in time, malakas na yung haka-haka that was brought to my attention.
So nauna yung appointment mo bago yung pagpa-file mo?
Hindi, yung appointment ko was
16. June 16 ka?
no, June 30.
June 30. Tapos June 28 prior to the
Yeah, I was
appointment.
granted that CLN.
Okay. At kahit nasabihin na ano,
Yeah.
nauna naman pa rin pala yung pagpa-file mo, di ba?
Exactly.
At kung ginrant naman that time, diba?
Nung protong ka, ibig sabihin, grinant sa akin on the basis of precisely my affidavit of
Correct.
1993.
Which yun ang hindi nila naintindihan. Na yung final mo kasi na yun is to clarify na meron na akong final nung 1993.
Exactly.
At kinaklaro ko sa inyo sa pamamagitan ng ipina-file ko ngayon.
Yes.
And even if sabihin na yun man ay ginawa mo pa rin, it happened before your appointment. And it was acknowledged by the US government.
Yes.
So ayaw lang nila talaga sa'yo.
Ang hindi ko maintindihan ngayon, mayroon naman akong haka-haka na lumalabas at tinatanaw ko ng media pero hindi ko na sinasagot.
Oo.
Kung bakit nag-apply kasi ako daan ng renewal of my passport.
Okay, ng Philippine passport.
Ng Philippine passport ko.
Okay.
I
Kailan ba mag-expire?
Last week. Yeah. Mag-expire yan in next year, 2018.
Okay.
2017 ngayon.
Okay.
But then, by the time that it will expire, I intend to go to the United States on my tourist visa
Okay.
for a medical check-up.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
because I need a yearly monitoring of
Follow
what
up
I
dun
went
sa ano.
through. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
Of my medical condition then. Now that is, kailangan mo lang yun because that's
Correct,
how you want to be very careful. But by the time that it comes about, when I go there in June,
Mag-expire na.
less than 6 months na yung mag-valid yung aking Philippine passport na yan. So, I will not be allowed to enter the United States even if I have a valid tourist visa up to March 2020 because my passport will be valid at that time for less than 6 months. Right? So, ang ginawa ko, anticipating that, especially so na itong nangyayari sa akin, before I left the DFA officially, I filed for that. At
So
tinanggap naman.
na-renew ka na. Ikaw naman na nandun pa eh.
Pero ang sinabi na ngayon na ang haka-haka piniplace daw in hold ang aking application dahil sa ruling daw ng Commission on Appointments
Pine-place on hold ng DFA?
ng DFA. Yun ang haka-haka. I do not know if that's true or not. But, I leave it that I was told.
Marami ka bang kaaway sa DFA?
Wala naman.
So, marami bang asar sa'yo doon o maraming gustong kumuha ng pwesto mo doon?
Aywan ko kung anong nangyayari doon.
Yung bang pumalit sa'yo ngayon, kilala mo?
Yeah, mabait. Magaling. He's very good. I have a healthy respect for him.
Okay naman yung ano
Si
na
Ricky
yun.
Manalo is a professional, he's a career guy, and I think he'll do a good job.
No, pero kumusta yung application mo ng renewal?
Binayad ko ng resibo. I was told by the officer that entertained me na I will get it in 7 days. Hindi pa naman lumampas yung 7 days. So,
Okay.
I would hope that by 7 days from now, I will get it.
Tsaka hindi,
Wala naman sigurong basis yun. I am still presumptively a Filipino. And because I have a valid passport.
It doesn't mean naman if you will not be granted a passport, you're not a Filipino, di ba?
Yes, but then I will
Does that mean, halimbawa, hindi ka pinayagan makakuha ng passport ng DFA? Is that tantamount to saying that you are not a Filipino?
Yes, because they will say that I'm not entitled to it. Under the law, if you
No.
have a valid passport...
Are all Filipinos allowed to secure a passport?
When they travel, yes.
No, but even if you're not allowed to travel, kung halimbawa sabihin ka, meron kang problema sa ibang documents na you cannot submit to us or whatever it is, so you will not be granted a passport. But does that mean already automatically na you're not a Filipino?
In my case, I think so.
Ayun sa kaso mo ngayon, dahil yun ang
ibig sabihin
ini-issue.
sinubmit ko naman yung mga dokumento to prove that I'm a Filipino. And what is that? a valid Filipino passport.
Oh, tsaka yun lang naman ang kailangan mo na sa renewal, di ba?
Exactly.
Oh.
Yun lang kailangan mo. And as a matter of duty, I have to be issued.
Yes,
But
yes.
then, yung haka-haka ay nagsasabi na hindi raw ako entitled noon dahil ang ruling daw ng Commission on Appointment, hindi ako Filipino. Yung ruling naman ng Commission on Appointment, at ina-admit naman ito ng Commission on Appointment members, is not a binding ruling that says that I am not a Filipino. Anybody who wants to prove that I am not a Filipino must still go to court for this
No,
purpose.
what I'm saying now is, ang desisyon ng CA, di mo na nga inintay, di ba?
Yeah.
Alam mo na yon bago lumabas. So may idea ka na i-reject ka.
Kinausap ko naman sila before they met.
So ano bang nakalagay sa decision talaga nila?
Hindi ko na nakita.
So hindi, pero anong idea mo
Well, they
ngayon?
told me that I will be rejected on the basis of
Not being a Filipino citizen?
I didn't tell me that specifically. They just said we will be putting it into a vote now, and sabi sa akin ni Senate President Coco that I will be rejected because I do not have the votes. And I said, well, that is
No,
your
but
duty.
the rejection was based on dahil hindi ka Filipino citizen, ganun ba? Yun ba? May nilalabas ba silang yan? Written na, no? May nilalabas ba silang written
May
na?
announcement si Senator Lacson, di ba?
Yes.
Na sinasabi niya na that I lied about not being, or that I lied about my citizenship issue. So I would presume that
Na yun ang basis
yun
nila?
ang nagiging basis nila.
Parang malabo yata yung ano na yan.
Sa akin, Dan, one may say that. But I respect the decision of the Commission on Appointment in carrying out their mandate under the Constitution to closely scrutinize.
But
the
who will double check this one? Because these things could happen also kasi 'di ba may oversight function sila, meron silang karapatan diyan sa pag-appoint na ganyan, pagko-confirm ng mga appointments ng presidente. Pero siguro naman hindi naman sinasang-ayunan ng batas ang pag-abuso sa karapatan. Don't you think that it is
Palagay ko
an
naman,
abuse
Dan, hindi
of
naman
their right?
nag-abuso ang hindi naman nag-abuso ang Commission on Appointment because yun nga sinasabi sa Ligang Batas, they can reject my nomination for any reason. Yeah, they can do that. Sa akin lang sinasabi.
Yes, for any reason, but does that mean na kahit na mali ang reason, pwede nilang gawin? Okay, parang nagbotohan
Hindi
kayo.
mo naman pwedeng sasabihin mali yung dahilan na ginamit nila assuming that they did so on the belief that I am not a Filipino because that aspect of the decision whether or not I'm a Filipino is not a binding one. You know, that is not within their authority to do so insofar as giving that belief a validity. That will divest me of my Philippine citizenship. That has to be done by court and before the regular courts. And if anybody who claims that I am not a Filipino must prove it.
No, but how can that be clarified now? Kasi para kung yun na nga ginagamit
Then
na...
somebody who insists that saying that I am not a Filipino must go to court, not me.
Oo, correct.
Yun lang ang punto ko
No,
dyan.
pero the point there is ginagamit na ngayon against you.
Yeah.
Kasi 'di ba, if it is being used against you, na sinasabi na kaya ka hindi ganito, hindi ka maganon, kaya nga may issue na naman kamo with regard to itong application mo ng renewal. 'Di ba na meron ng haka-haka na hindi ka paparenewin dahil sinabi ng CA na hindi ka Pilipino. So
Kung totoo
ginagamit
man-
ng basis yun,
Kung
'di ba?
totoo man yung haka-haka na yon,
Yes.
at sinasabi talaga ng mga opisyalis ngayon ng DFA
Correct.
na wag i-grant sa akin, ako, I know that they are wrong in that respect.
So, paano ngayon ang gagawin mo kung halimbawa ni-reject ka ng passport?
Ng passport?
Halimbawa, dininay ka, ang sinabi yun, di ba, yung sinasabi mong basis, sasabihin nila, sabi kasi ng CA, di ka Pilipino ng Commission on Appointment. So, we're banking
I
on that.
believe that the DFA at the end of the day will not do that. I
Okay.
have faith and confidence that they are career, they are professionals, they will not do that.
So, you will feel vindicated pag nilabas nila yung renewal mo ng passport.
Not vindicated, I feel that it is the right thing to do to renew my passport because I qualify for the renewal.
No, but because they are saying that you're not a Filipino and if the DFA is now renewing your passport, that will only prove that you're a Filipino.
yes.
So
That
that
is
will
correct.
actually mean
Yeah.
vindication to you on the part of your rejection by the Commission on Appointments.
I don't think so. I think the Commission on Appointments still did the right thing, but for the DFA to say and grant me my passport despite that decision is the right thing to do, and it vindicates the fact that I am entitled to the passport.
They did.
But it is not a vindication of the fact that the Commission on Appointment had validly voted again in rejecting, because that's their job under the Constitution.
Rejecting,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
In rejecting, because
my
that
appointment.
is their right.
Yeah, that's their right.
That
Yeah.
is their right to
Duty.
reject
It's
or
a duty.
to
Yeah.
accept duty, but
Yeah.
it does not mean that it
I'm a
is
Filipino.
that it is a basis of saying that you are not a Filipino.
I'm not a Filipino.
Diba? Kasi parang pero yun ang naging dahilan ba't hindi ka na-confirm eh.
Well,
Yun lang ba?
Yeah,
yun lang ba talaga? Sa pagkaalam mo,
sa pagkakalam ko may mga issues eh.
Okay.
May sinulatan naman ako ng
ano ba mga major issues nila
sinasabi
sa'yo?
nila, one ay baka gusto nilang i-review kung bakit pa kailangan ako i-confirm dahil
Kapalitan ka rin naman.
papalitin naman ako within 1 year.
Okay.
Okay, yan ang ano.
Which is an assumption.
Which is what well, I guess you call it that, but that is what I received, no?
Okay.
Okay. And the other thing is that there are issues about whether in fact there were other documentations that they had asked me about with respect to the status of our overseas Filipino workers abroad, whether we were doing the right thing at the DFA for that purpose, and also insofar as the printing of the passport, of the Philippine passport now, which has been transferred from the Bangko Sentral
NPO.
to NPO to APO, which is a government
Printing
corporation,
office, yes.
but which APO subcontracted to a private entity, which is bawal. Oo. So these were the issues that they wanted to raise, and then also issues about my citizenship. So yung tatlo na yun ang mga major dahilan kung bakit gusto nila akong i-hear uli. Remember, I was already heard by the Commission on Appointment in February 22.
Yes.
And in fact, Senator Soto, as I remember, Senator Honasan was already suggesting that I already be recommended for confirmation by the Commission on Appointments. Except that somebody said na wag muna because we will require these documentations from Secretary Yasay.
Kasi iba yung rejected kesa sa bypass,
Bypass, yeah.
di ba? Kung na-bypass ka, pwede ka pang reappoint.
Yeah.
Ngayon yata 3 times na lang daw. Dati kasi unlimited eh.
Yeah.
Parang text lang at saka internet. Pero yung rejected, pinagbotohan ka talaga.
That's correct.
Ibig sabihin, napagkaisahan ka na.
Well,
na
you have no right to a public office.
Pero ano bang sabi sa'yo? Kasi sabi ng presidente, klaro naman yung sinabi niya, usap na lang tayo ulit, June. Sabi niya gano'n. Nagkausap na ba kayo ulit?
Hindi pa kami nag-usap ni Pangulo at palagay ko naman siguro
Not even over the phone?
not even over the phone.
Okay.
Although I saw him the other day, I saw him because I wanted to assure him that my recommendation of Undersecretary Ricky Manalo to be acting secretary is a good one, and that I was happy that he in fact accepted that recommendation, and assured him that Ricky Manalo was very competent to assume that position. Yeah, and I'm happy that the president agreed with me on that. And with
So, nag-meet na rin kayo?
Nag-meet na ko yun. Pero wala kaming private time to talk about anong mangyayari sa akin or anything like that.
Oo.
And this is not anything that I don't want to bother the president about. It's all up to him because he is the appointing power. He has that authority.
Correct.
He has more problems than the fact that I don't have any job right now. That's a minor thing for me. A very, very small thing. Let's leave it to the president to make his decisions. There are other priorities that he has to attend to.
But what are you looking forward to if in case that you will be appointed again kung sakasakali na different position?
I am not seeking a job. I always believe that it is the job that seeks for you. And if the president thinks that there will be a job that seeks for me and appoints me on that basis, I'll welcome it. I have never I have never rejected any opportunity to serve our country and our people.
And then be ready to face the Commission on Appointments again, who will again insist that you are not a Filipino.
Well, yes, yeah, but then again, I am sure that by that time, with the grant of my Philippine passport, that issue should die.
Kaya ba ang ipinili mo si Yusek Manalo? Para mag-grant yung...
Hindi naman. No. In fact, pinili ko si Yusek Manalo. I recommended him even before I applied for a passport.
Okay. So, hindi mo na sinabi kay Yusek Manalo,
no.
bahala ka na doon sa passport ko.
Never did. Yeah.
Baka naman hindi. So, what do you want to tell our viewers? Kasi ako talaga hindi sinasabi nga pag nag-uusap-usap. Siyempre, uusap yung mga barkada natin, yung mga kaibigan. Ano nangyari kay June? Ba't gano'n? Ano? Meron sasabihin, ba't ba hindi niya sinabi yung ano? Ano ba hindi niya sinabi? So, these are actually part of... sinabi niya naman, di ba? Ba't ba kasi siya nag-apply? Alam mo yun, di ba, yung sa grupo. So, parang maraming mga naging ganong mga bulong-bulong. Nagsinungaling ba? Ano ba pinagsinungaling ni June? Sinungaling ba? Ba't ano ba tinanong sa kanya? Wait, tama naman sinabi siguro kasi ganito. Alam mo yan, maraming mga iba't ibang mga That's also one of the reasons why I wanted to clarify all of these things. Is this your first time to face the media again after you were rejected by the CA?
With you?
Yeah?
Yes.
Is this the first time to face the media with me now?
Yeah.
So you have not clarified all of these things yet in the media?
No. No, I have not.
Kasi pinapagulo yata buhay mo ng media.
Hindi naman. The media has also been doing its job.
Mabuti, pinagbigyan mo akong pumunta ka dito kahit na-istorbo kita. No, that's the reason why I really wanted that to be clarified. Because I mean, I have known you to be a person of integrity, and you know me. I mean, I ask straight questions. I mean, even if you're a friend of mine, I will still be seeking for the truth.
Yes.
And I would always want to hear what is the truth.
Right.
Diba? Parang hindi naman natin ang gusto ay itago kung ano yung katotohanan. And we wanted the people to know as well, ano ba yung dapat nilang malaman. So,
sa akin, Dan, let me just thank you sincerely for this opportunity para maipahayag.
Pleasure.
And I know that this will be the only interview that I will be granting insofar as this issue is concerned, because I have put this issue to final rests.
Okay.
I will be moving forward from here on. As I've said, I have always accepted with grace and humility yung desisyon ng ating Commission on Appointment in rejecting the confirmation of my appointment as Secretary of Foreign Affairs. And I think they did their job insofar as yung duty nila sa konstitusyon o sa ligang batas na nagsasabing check and balances, review thoroughly the qualifications of nominees for cabinet. And I accept that. Ang gusto ko lang ipapahayag sa inyo is that when I expressed my professional position insofar as being an expert in U.S. immigration law, I did so in good faith. Wala ho akong intensyon magsisinungaling. Pinapalabas ko po ito on the basis of the issues that were coming, and I never hid it. I never concealed anything. So ito po ang gusto kong na maunawaan nyo. Hindi po ako nagsinungaling. Hindi po ako kumakapit sa aking posisyon na kung dahil doon ay magsisinungaling ako because if I lied, I might be able to get confirmation. No, it's not that. When I went to the confirmation, I wanted our people also to understand and to see, and the members of the commission, what is the truth. If you do not believe in what I've said, that's your right to do so. But in the same way that I could not call you a liar if you do not believe in what I say, or I do not believe in what you say, and you will call me a liar. The point is, look at the facts, look at what I've said. Hindi po ako nagsisinungaling. I still honestly believe, even now, that it is the position that seeks the man and not the man the position. Kaya po, in the 8 months period na ako ay nanunungkulan bilang Secretary of Foreign Affairs, I did my job to the best of my ability with competence, dignity, integrity, honesty, and respect. And I am very happy that I've served the country and our president in this regard.
Well, so you can now categorically say that when Senator Ping Lacson said that you lied about your citizenship, he is mistaken.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing you again. Mas maganda-gandang ambience. Go-golf ka na ba uli?
Babalikan ko. Kailangan ko ng practice dan. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, former DFA Secretary Attorney Perfecto, June Yasay. Dito lamang po sa programang Bawal ang Pikon, Get It Straight with Daniel Razon.